Right. Welcome, friends. We're on Battletech Oath of Endosteel Season 3, Episode 2, 3030, Part 2. There is a fanfare to the arrival of a set of dropships bearing the Robinson Draconis March Militia, 2nd Armor Regiment, 2nd Battalion, 3rd Company, and their new commander, who is, of course, also commander of the defenses of Whittington now, Captain Harrison McDowell Bitterston. A tanker who is short, stout, and has a mustache that could double as a broom. My question, sir, is does the commander of the militia forces meet him properly to turn over command during the landing ceremony, or do you skip it?
This is my army.
Obviously I'm there.
Okay. He receives
Also,
your change of command then?
Oh yeah, that's why I have to kind of be there, right?
Yeah.
Isn't there probably like when a submarine captain takes over, you have to say like, your watch is over or whatever.
Yes, it's a change of command ceremony.
You probably have like some kind of
have to be there.
Some kind of like symbolic like
you have the watch or whatever, right?
Yeah, you like hand them some like symbolic.
We have like a royal mace of defense. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that
mace of defense.
We have that thing.
He looks at the mace,
like the sergeant at arms and shit. Like, dude, everyone has maces.
Aww.
A rod, or it's a rod of law.
He accepts it from you, and he says,
"It's a 7-parted rod of law."
I like
Captain
that.
Hiroka, walk with me.
It's a little unorthodox, sir, but sure.
Okay, you're standing there saying that, and he's already walking. You have to.
And he's doing, oh my god, I see this guy. This guy's walking so tall. I cannot even get to his level of.
No, you're taller than him though, because he's short.
No, that's not what I mean.
He's got
upright.
pride though, 100%.
I know. He's doing that thing where like every like admiral type can do, like when they just walk with their arms behind their back, like
he's going through a folder.
Like that super. Man, you're ruining my fucking.
I'm sorry.
He doesn't have an aide in front of him with the binder walking back as he's keeping his hands like this. You know what I mean? That aide. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Anyways,
how about this? The feeling is there, but like the
feeling is there. Okay. Yeah. No, we're cool. Anyways, we're
Captain. I am now Whittington 6 Actual. I think you'll find in my file that my call sign is Jackhammer if you need to refer to me in a military situation. I'm going to be reorganizing the militia. We're going to be calling them up for 2 exercises a month. You will no longer have time for personal training. You will be integrated with my troops, and we will train you directly. What can you tell me about the mercenaries on planet 2 rejected Draconis Combine Alliance squadrons, correct?
Correct. I'm not trying to lie to the guy. So if I get something wrong, call me out on it. It's just flared. It's just my brain worms. It's not Jasper's.
Yeah.
So they've performed at spec.
What would you say the level of loyalty are for these 2 commanders? One, can't even pronounce this guy's name, and a Lieutenant Yusef.
Sir, they're mercenaries. I've never known a loyal mercenary. Have you, sir?
I've worked with several mercenaries that were quite loyal in my time, and I believe that the armed forces of the Federated Commonwealth would take extreme umbrage at your tone, young man. I am here to enforce company store policy. From now on, these mercenaries are to be denied supplies that do not come directly through our quartermasters. They will be paid by us, and they will pay us. Their loyalty will be tested, and they will be turned to loyal service in the Federated Commonwealth, the Federated Sons, and the Draconis March. Am I clear?
Crystal, sir.
I understand you have a personal connection with one of these leaders.
Would you like to elaborate, sir?
You have had him working for you for several years, correct?
Correct. I believe you're talking about whatever. Would it be major? What would it be?
Lieutenant Yusef used to be a farmer.
Yes. Yes. I know his father as well. Yeah, my
He's my father. That's what you say.
No.
He was a real son of a bitch.
I go back. Yeah. My family has close ties with the Azumis in their founding here on Whittington. Yusuf is a standout soldier and a competent leader.
There are rumors of another outbreak on the Azami worlds. Do you expect that the members here may be plague carriers?
No, sir. Then, besides Yusuf, I don't think any of them have been off-world in the past 37 years or however long.
Very well. You have vouched for their loyalty, and I hold you in esteem, Captain. I only hope that they can reach the quality that your word has provided them. Tell me about the pirates.
Barely adequate, sir. I would imagine they would cut and run or try to strike a deal with their opponent at the fastest opportunity.
You believe they may be a threat to the security of this planet?
When the time comes, yes.
Very well. I'll have to see that military intelligence takes care of them. We'll put them under surveillance for now. I brought my own aide-de-camp, but I'd like to work closely with you and your people.
Sir, I'd like to amend my previous report about the mercenaries.
Yes.
Privateers. Right? Or what are they called? What's their proper term? Sorry.
Which unit?
Sorry, not the Azamis, the other guys.
He called them the pirates.
It is Barrett's. Yeah, it's Barrett's privateers.
No, he's referring, when he says pirates, he's referring to the Khan troops.
The privateers? Oh.
He's referring to whose?
Khan. He's referring to House Khan's new
LeBeau's
fleet.
Not that's the problem. I'm getting LeBeau's. That was my little bit of a mix up here. I wasn't sure if you're referring to LeBeau's stuff or
then let's
Barrett's.
reverse it.
Okay,
he is
that's
asking you about
Barrett's.
LeBeau's pirates, essentially.
Oh yeah.
Are they a threat?
Not at all, sir. We've had very good relations with them.
Very well.
They seem to hold their own.
He says the same thing before about how I want to work closely with you, and says, I'd like you to make time Saturday evening to have dinner with the rest of my staff. That will be a recurring engagement every week.
If this was the anime, you heard my mental thoughts like, that's my date night. Yes.
Problem,
of course,
Captain?
sir. No, sir. It's 18. I assume 1800.
Works for me.
Quick question, AP. Is this guy a noble? Like, what's his deal?
He's a captain, commoner.
Okay.
But he is now in full command of the military of this planet.
Is that common in the Federated Suns?
To have commoners, or that he's part of a Federated Suns line unit. He's not. So his unit is specifically attached to Dracana's Combine. So technically, if a federal unit like the Avalon Hussars or the Robinson Rangers arrive, people whose loyalty is directly to the First Prince, they would take precedent over him, assuming they outranked him. But it is not only common, it's expected that even if this guy was a lieutenant or a sergeant, a regular line unit automatically outranks the local militia.
Got it. I was basically just curious if, like, in the Federated Suns, the military is like a true method of upward mobility, or if there's like basically like a glass ceiling for commanders.
Not in the Suns. Okay. Federated Suns looks for extremely competent people and promotes them as quickly as possible.
Got it. Good to know.
Yeah.
Quick question. I've read this guy's file beforehand.
Sure.
Is there anything of his record that might be questionable, or what's his reputation?
So he's been assigned to the Robinson DMM. It's a regimental combat team, which is 1 Battletech regiment, 2 armor, 5 infantry, 1 aerospace wing. They're all trained to work together, and typically they're assigned directly to the planet that they work on, or some of its attendant surrounding planets. Yeah. The 2nd armor that he's been assigned to is typically one that gets sent away to other planets. It's rumored to have a lot of trust and close ties with the March Lord Aaron Sandoval. This guy is particular. He hasn't had any standout moments in his career. He's turned back some raids. He tends to like fighting away from cities, and almost all of his maneuverings, all of his bunkerings, anything that he does in his career, he tries to keep an exclusion zone around a city in accordance with the ancient but no longer particularly well regarded Ares Convention, which technically is no longer followed by anyone.
Can I tailor my questioning a little harder? Not to interrupt. I know.
Go ahead.
Your tangent about the Ares. Excuse me. The question I really wanted to know is, does he have a reputation of sort of like, does he hate nobles? You know what I mean? Or like, does he have a
that's not in the file, and I don't know that you would be able to read that from a military file, but you do notice he has a track record of promoting
does he have a
competent
station?
people.
Yeah. Oh, I was wondering if he was like, if he was stationed on another planet with nobility, does he have like several large complaints from non-military nobles about,
Could Jasper maybe make like some kind of role to have like looked into this?
This is like a flashback.
But I'll tell you what you get out of his file is that the only complaints against him are members of his own command, typically enlisted people of low ranks who are concerned at the amount of work and pressure that he puts upon his troops.
Oh, sure. Well, no one's afraid of hard work. I just want to make sure, if anything, I was going to caution him about the noble hearts on this world, maybe being, you might find some resistance, but I don't think I will. No, knowing what I know now. Thank you for that. So anyways, we're walking in. You can still
roll for something if you'd like to cover the secrets, Captain.
Yeah, I would.
All right, let me figure out what you're going to roll before you.
Well, too late, man.
Dice. I mean, the
it's
numbers
gonna
on
be like
the
leadership.
dice won't change. I don't think it's going to be leadership, actually. I wonder if perhaps it would be protocol.
Protocol sounds like it maybe is.
It does feel like
that's even better. That's like a
you
15.
would call people in your, chain of command or old friends that you had when you were at Alpha World, right? And be like, hey, can you look into this guy? Have you heard anything about him? That sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's the minimum I would do because I'm putting fucking Whittingtons in his protection, right?
Protocol's the closest we have to like a kind of general like social knowledge, social connections role, right? So like that feels right. Is like knowing the right people to ask kind of thing.
What's your total?
15.
All right. So this guy has a reputation among not like flag officers. You're not quite at the level where you can talk to them, but among regular officers. He has a reputation of being this kind of bland, generic tanker captain. He doesn't hate Mechwarriors, but he doesn't work with them particularly well. He expects them to adhere to his forces rather than the other way around, right? He wants his strategic plans always involve holding a piece of ground and then using the Mechwarriors as a mobile flanking unit because, mechs have legs.
Hammer and anvil. Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Got it.
It doesn't matter what the problem is, it's almost always going to be a hammer and anvil solution, whether it's solving problems socially or interacting with the locals. He always draws the threat to him, and if somebody else needs to step in and be the hammer, he has them do it.
Yeah.
Subtlety is not really his way.
Sure.
He's got a good reputation, but not like... It's clear that he's not going to be sailing up the ranks anytime soon.
Yeah.
All right.
So I would just like to, then I'll just kind of wrap up saying something like, sir, I think Sandoval made a great choice tapping you to oversee the defenses of this planet. Everyone here, after fighting this war, we're going to probably rest on our laurels and we're going to need to put to hard work to remember to stay disciplined and ready for the next attack. So, that kind of thing, right? Like I'm trying to like point out that he's going to run us hard, but I think that's a good idea.
He turns to look at you.
My nose might be getting a little brown as well by saying that.
His steely blue eyes gaze into yours, and he says, "Son, if I ever hear you referring to March Lord Aaron Sandoval by his last name without any measure of respect, I will make sure that you are removed from this man's army."
What would you say? Hold on. What would you call him if not by Sandoval?
March Lord Sandoval.
March Lord Sandoval.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a military title. He is the director of.
Okay. I feel like that's an Eric problem and not something.
Yeah, but I like the idea that this guy's a stickler for titles.
Yeah, I would have said like Lord Sandoval, but like March Lord. It would have totally been. Yes, sir. March Lord.
You're dismissed.
Salute and
Yeah, he looks to his own people and goes, "Move them out!"
Yeah.
As a company of tanks begins coming down 2 at a time, and they play the theme of the armed forces of the Federated Sons, followed by the March of the Federated Commonwealth, a newly written piece of music.
Now I have to go tell my wife that we lost our date night and but we still have to hire a babysitter.
You gotta go do it on Friday.
Yeah.
Gotta get down on Friday.
You do gotta get down on Friday. That's true.
Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. Lachlan McDougall.
Yes, sir.
People move throughout your house. Anko Khan, your ex-courtesanal lover, your chief tech. Aides. People put papers in front of you occasionally and wait for you to sign them before leaving. Sometimes Audrey Lafayette shows up with a briefing you don't really care about. But when you hear the door to your office open this time, the footsteps are unfamiliar, and a scent of perfume wafts in front of this person as someone you have no knowledge of, with 2 large, I should say overly large glasses, comes in a charcoal business suit and sits down across from your desk.
How long after, like, is this in like the middle of Lachlan's like kind of
yeah, it's months later, like August.
Okay, yeah. So I think he's like starting to regain some of his former self a little bit. But he's definitely not, the smiling, gregarious Lachlan we are used to seeing. He probably is. Maybe he's like grown like a little bit of a beard or goatee. How old is Lachlan? I can't remember.
Isn't he getting close to his 30s now?
Yeah, I think it's like
might be
mid-20s, 30s.
I can't remember because he was the oldest when we started. Or no.
I mean, has it been 10 years? Because I think Kuro was 20. Well,
it's been 5-ish years.
I was the middle kid.
Were you? I thought that Kuro was the oldest for some reason, but maybe Lachlan was the oldest.
I always thought Lachlan was the oldest.
Yeah, Lachlan was the oldest. Kuro was the mid. And
I feel like he started at 23, and then Kuro was like 21, and Jasper was like 18. So we started in 30-25. It's been 5 years. Yep. So he is now 28. He's like my age now, basically. All right, cool. So yeah, he probably is like growing like a bit of a beard. It's probably a little bit patchy, and like it's not like a well taken care of beard. So it doesn't like it grows enough that if he cared and was taking care of it, it would probably look okay. But he's not doing that. And when this person sits down, he just looks up and says, "Do I know you?"
You don't, but you will.
I see.
My name is Miss Samantha Wilson-Jones. I'm a consultant. I've been sent by Aaron Sandoval. He wanted me to take a look at you. I don't really like what I'm seeing here.
You're telling me the March Lord sent you here. Why?
Aaron's been worried for a while about you. There have been rumors that your wife's death has shattered you. I'm not looking at a totally broken man, but I wouldn't let you out in public looking like this. Obviously, we're going to have to get someone in wardrobe and styling. Probably at least 2 people and a housekeeper for the smell in here.
I think Lachlan is just kind of quiet for a while. And then he'll say, sounds like you have it all figured out, don't you?
Not yet, but she adjusts her glasses. I will.
Have you ever been to Whittington? Have you ever spent much time here?
I've been to Whittington's before.
I see. If we had met 8-10 months ago, I think we would have gotten along famously. But at this point, I'm not sure that we have any use for each other.
That's a shame because I need to go back with a positive report. Mr. McDougal, your position here is tenuous at best.
Wait, he's a baron, isn't he? Or count?
You're a count. Yeah.
Count? Yeah, so he'll say Count McDougal.
Mr. McDougal. Your nobility is held to the highest position on this planet, the Duchess, and through her to the Duke of Robinson, Aaron Sandoval. And I want to be extremely clear here. This is a performance review. The Draconis March has been, in the March Lord's own words, left on its own for too long, neglected by the Federated Sons federal government. We cannot have a weak link in the chain. Whittington cannot be the brick that falters when the wall is pushed on. You need to get back on your feet, Mr. McDougal, and that's why I'm here. Because if you don't, you will be replaced with someone more loyal and more capable. I'm here to help you. Help yourself. Will you let me do that? Or do you prefer that bottle?
So I think
I just want to be 100% clear. She is trying to antagonize you. She's not trying to intimidate you. She's trying to make you mad at her.
Oh yeah, no, that's
right.
Yeah, I got that. No, you did a very good job of putting that across. And that's what I was going to say is like, you know, the Lachlan we are used to seeing would almost certainly rise to that provocation, right? He's a very like prickly, proud guy who is very easy to ruffle in that way. And I think like maybe like for a moment we see him like his like hand like flex around the glass or something, right? Like it's very clear that he is very angry, and then just kind of internalizes it, and says, he like strokes his chin and says, fine then, I'll give you something to review. Come back in a few days. I'll have a proposal for you.
A proposal for me. That's cute. Fine. I'll give you 3 days to clean yourself up. After that, I'll be taking meetings with the nobles around the planet.
Excellent. So I think like, I'm guessing that she leaves at that point.
She does, but as soon as she's out the door, you can hear her pulling out a mobile, just telling someone, like, get me all of the business leaders on the planet. I'm going to need to speak with them over the next 3 days. And get the Ritz.
Yeah, so I think like we get like one of those kind of like montage scenes of like Lachlan like pulling himself back together, right? Like he like showers, we see him like he's like at first gonna shave all the beard off, but instead just like leaves like a villain goatee.
No, we got to do a Battlestar Galactica style. You stare into the mirror for like a solid 2 minutes before shakily raising the razor and then slowly scraping it. But after the first scrape, we show you afterwards with like the perfectly done beard.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect villain goatee. And puts on one of his like nice but entirely over the top suits. And he's going to start making phone calls to I can't remember what I named my federal agency. Fuck.
I think you just called it like the Department of Interiors or something like that.
Bureaucracy.
Yeah. But if you guys wouldn't mind, I would love to add like a note where Anko was like doing something,
Sure.
Again, passively,
Sure.
And sees this woman leave the room and just kind of takes a mental note. And also Sam, if you're if you'd allow it, I think one of the things that you would notice is that the ladies of the household have all like made sure that the things that were needed for you to recover was
or like actually there because he hasn't gone shop. He hasn't like bought a razor in fucking 6 months.
And like everything is pristine and ready for you, ready to go. So like when you make the choice, it's like the smoothest you've ever.
It's a new suit
transition.
Your size.
Yeah, it's been trimmed. Like maybe you've gained a little weight or something too. Yeah. So it's been refitted exactly to what your current size is, so you don't feel any like difference.
Yeah, I'll come up with a better name for the department because Lachlan would have come up with something over the top and stupid. So I'll have to think of that. But he's going to start making calls, and AP, we can talk through this. I have a pretty big idea here, and I have a feeling it might be better as like maybe multiple roles. So I can like kind of just talk you through what I'm thinking as like Lachlan's quote unquote plan, and we can go from there. So until now, Lachlan has been kind of playing like that very like business liaison role where he's like trying to like make a lot of deals and like get like coordination and like people working together on planet. He's basically going to pivot off of that and just try to start a ruthless consolidation campaign. He's going to use the power of the government to like clear any like bureaucratic hurdles to acquisitions. He's going to like use potential investigations to threaten people. He's just going to go full absolute monster business mogul and just try to basically play the Monopoly game on Whittington. And
while who doing this sounds like.
Yeah.
What? Who?
Sebastian Bassett.
But this is above board, right? Because it's legal.
It's technically legal.
So was a lot of what Bassett was doing. Not all of it.
But I think like in service of this, right? Because like fundamentally, like this is what he's doing is incredibly slash and burn, and like he's basically just extracting to make himself in a better position. But in service of that, he's playing the classic Monopoly game where he's also lowering prices and putting out all sorts of propaganda to make it seem like this is really great for everybody because look at all these efficiencies that we are getting. And now you're able to get this for X amount cheaper because of blah, blah, blah. And, obviously like if a bunch of accountants like really looked into it, who knows if it would be true, but like they're just spinning it in that way. So yeah,
this is going to be multiple roles.
Oh yeah, it's got to be, right?
We should just rename the show "It's Always Sunny on Whittington."
I've never seen that show, so I don't think I'm going to get the reference.
Yeah,
I mean,
I hear people say it's too political, which makes me wonder what people think the word means. But
I was thinking more like turning into succession all of a sudden. He's just going full fucking business mogul.
That I have not seen either, but I need to.
But yeah, he's. I was thinking maybe like, I don't know, maybe leadership to start or like negotiation.
I think it's going to be leadership, negotiation, and intimidation, which is specifically influence.
Okay,
you're
so
going to need
3 different roles.
3 roles.
Okay. I don't think I have influence, but once we get there, we may spend some XP. So let's start with leadership because that's my best. I have a +9.
All right. As usual, it's gradated, so the better you do, the better your results.
Yep.
Oh no. Snake eyes.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and spend an edge to re-roll that. I've got 3 of those, so we'll go down to 2.
I mean, it's technically 11. So.
Oh my god, dude.
A 5 is still not very good, but a 5 + 9 is not terrible. That's a 14. So.
All right.
Is that enough to clear what I need?
You'll get something out of it for sure.
Okay.
And a little extra as well.
Okay. All right. So then the second one was negotiation.
Yep.
This is a +8, still very good, but not as good. Oh.
That looks considerably better.
That is a 9 + 8 is a 17.
Okay. I'm gonna put you there at
And then you said the last skill I need would be influence? I don't think I have that.
It's intimidation. Intimidation is the influence skill. I mean, you're basically threatening people with the bureaucracy.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying I think it's inappropriate. I just don't have it.
You're just not good at it.
Okay, so my stat is still 4. So buying 1 point would cost 2, right? Because it's times 1.5 rounded up. So then 2 to go up to 2 would be a total of 5. And then to go up to 3 would be a total of 9. Right?
Yeah. Sounds about right.
All right. We are going to spend.
I love that this is the moment that you become like the intimidating mogul.
Yeah, what it really is Lachlan is just becoming his father, which is like the thing that he he most wanted to avoid.
Yep. That was gonna be the next question.
Okay, so if I spend 9, I would go up to 3, and then to make it up to 4 times 1.5 would be 6. Yeah, screw it. We're gonna spend all but 1 of my XP, and we are going to go straight to intimidation 4. The darkness in his soul after the death of his wife and coming out of this is just making him real fucking
ruthless.
Yeah, just like no fun, and everyone is like looks him in the eyes and they're like, oh Jesus, this guy is terrifying.
Jacobson steps out for 5 minutes and look what happens to this planet.
Yep.
It's gonna come back from getting milk and cigarettes and just drop them on the floor.
Oh shit! Wait, no, the stat is 5, so I'll have a 9 in this. Cool. Alrighty. So here we go. Intimidation plus 9. 6 plus 9, 15. You know what? I'm gonna spend my second edge to reroll the 2. That's better. 8 plus 9 is 17.
I want to be clear here that you can't make money happen. You're not enabled to print money. A lot of what you're doing will probably fall apart. Not now, maybe 10 years down the line. There will be some accounting discrepancies, but you do manage to drive prices on Whittington down below even pre-war levels. You threaten stockpiles to open up. You get dropship captains to bring you things that you think you need or think you will need.
Oh yeah, no. To be clear, the low prices are totally a distraction in the now, so that as a monopolist, he can raise the prices in the later once he controls everything. Yeah, and yes, definitely not good for a stable long-term Whittington economy. We are 1,000% on the same page with that.
In order to make this happen, you have to take out loans, huge loans of the size that you would not have been capable of getting as a baron. But as a count and as a war hero and as a celebrity, banks who aren't communicating well with each other offer you increasingly large amounts. And you become the sole supplier of many things on Whittington in just a few days.
And I think like during this period, right, like Lachlan like all of a sudden appears again in the way that he was before, where like he's like doing like all of a sudden he's on talk shows again, and he's on like these things, and he's just kind of he's always talking about like how inefficient it is to have like all of these different business owners like controlling and all of their interests, and how much simpler it would be if the nobility could step in and ensure that everything runs smoothly, and lots of just kind of corporatized propaganda, but with like a very like noblesse oblige. Yeah, it's fascist. It's straight up fascism. But yeah, with like very much that like bent of like noblesse oblige, where it's like we're simply doing like what we must do for the common people, because this is our duty as nobility who are born better than them.
Do you say that exact phrase?
No. I mean, Lachlan, he puts a lot of nice spin on it, right? But that's the through line, right? Is this aspect of, it's not like pure capitalist, big is good, money is good. It's more like, as nobles, we have a responsibility to the people to make sure the economy runs as smoothly as it can.
I knew a guy who actually believed in that so hard. He became a servant of a prophet, the prophet of taxes.
Oh my God, I totally forgot about that.
Count Swan's whole thing is that he strongly believed in noblesse oblige and doing what you could for the people. That's why you were blessed.
That's true. Yeah,
you're
honestly,
a fake Count Swan. You're a faker.
It's very Count Swan rhetoric. That's for sure. Yeah. Whether or not he actually will try to help. I mean, but I think part of it, like Lachlan, does I think genuinely believe a lot of this shit, right? Like that's the darkest part, right? Is that after the war. After the death of his wife, he's looking around and he's just fuck all of this, fuck trying to play nice with these people who don't coordinate and who are trying to stab me in the back. I'm just going to take control of it all.
Welcome to being a noble. It's the best. Hey, dude, let me pull you over a seat at this table where you get to do whatever you want. Yeah, it's intoxicating.
All right. Sumantha Wilson Jones has a meeting on the books for you at the Izakai in town, the spaceport's #1 premier eatery for the elites. If you'd like to meet with her there, or if you just want to blow her off now that you're #1.
No, he shows up.
Okay. She's already seated, and the white noise generator is engaged. It appears that, as per usual, you are the only diners here. They bring out a spread. It's very obviously the dishes of Robinson. Their chef has made no attempt to hide that everyone on the planet knows what this meeting is about. So a lot of westernized Japanese dishes and Asian dishes in general. So lots of General Tso's chicken, egg rolls, fortune cookies, that's
probably some teriyaki.
As you sit down, she gives you a slight head incline and says, Count McDougal, it's nice to meet you.
You as well.
I have some concerns about your path going forward. Your government is in serious danger of economic collapse without assistance and aid, but I've prepared some paperwork for grants that you can apply to from both Robinson, New Avalon, and our new allies, the Lyran Commonwealth.
Excellent. Lord knows after the war effort, it's going to be hard to stabilize the economy. We lost so much. We have to build back.
Better.
I think there's a pause and Lachlan will say in a few more months I will have more secure control over construction assets, in which case I can push forward my initial plans in order to make sure that Whittington had a future. They were derailed, of course, with the war, but now that the Phase 7 renovation is complete, that should give us the push we need to get there.
I want to talk about your image. There's a big push for popularity right now in the Draconis March for men, strong men, who are both family men and filled with faith. The March Lord would like you to begin putting those at the top of your agenda. Appearances with your family, public attendance, church services, tying your faith into the decision-making process.
Understood. I've always been a devout man. I don't see why that would be a problem.
It's not enough to be devout in the Draconis March. You have to show that you're devout.
Of course.
Speaking of devotion and the construction assets, you are assured of the loyalty of the Khan family?
Well, I don't know much of the Khan family off-world. I do know that Anko Khan is deeply in my debt. She has done the best she could to prove her loyalty over the last months, and the one incident I've had where her loyalty seemed in question, the response when I brought it up was encouraging.
Very well. I've set up a meeting for you with Captain Harrison McDowell Bitterston. He's the new commander of forces on planet. It would do well for you to be seen with such a man.
I'll speak to him. Is there anything I should know about him?
He was sent here to keep an eye on you, just like I was, but militarily. You should know that if the defense of this planet comes down to a ground fight, he will succeed with what he is given.
Understood. I'm no longer so naive as to think that a ground fight might not come at any moment. And frankly, I would hope that things don't get as drastic as they got the last time.
I'm not here to diminish what happened here on Whittington, but it was a raid of a handful of battalions. When the Draconis Combine comes back over that border, it will be with regiment of Battlemechs and regiments of tanks and infantry to hold this world permanently.
And that's why it's my job to make sure that we get as prepared as we possibly can. And the first step is making sure that I have the resources to do that. That was my mistake last time. I didn't move fast enough. It was too late. By the time I was getting things moving here, getting everyone to agree, they were already here.
The March Lord is instituting privately a new policy. It goes beyond scorched earth. We're calling it the lava. We will be preparing and arming citizens privately in small groups, those that are most competent but don't have the time to join the militia, giving them the training and supply caches necessary to hold this world for months or even years in a partisan fight. When the Combine comes, we can't allow them to get deeper into the Draconis March or into the heart of the Federated Suns. We need to be capable of, on our own, forcing them to stay here and never leave. They'll die here.
On that, we can agree.
So I just want to be really clear with you. With everything she's saying, she's basically inserting herself into your staff as your top liaison. I don't know if you want to let her do that. She's sliding into your DMs, okay? She's the top moderator of your channel now.
Oh, no.
You don't have to let her do this.
Yeah,
So
question.
so
Is
two
that a
questions.
protocol? Yeah, sorry.
Two questions. One is there any kind of like read people skill in this game? I have perception.
Perception.
Okay, can I just like make a perception roll to see like what her like deal is? Like, is she just here to fuck people over and take power and then move on? Like what? I just try to get a read on her. You know what I mean?
Make a roll.
All right. I only have a +5 in this, so not nearly as good at this as the talkie.
Ooh.
I've got one more edge, and this does feel like it's pretty important.
Okay.
So I guess we'll go ahead and do it.
That looks a lot better.
Way better. So that's 17.
She is a true believer.
Got it.
Whatever
So
Aaron Sandoval says the Draconis March needs, it is a command from God.
Got it.
For her, the defense of the this is a job as a consultant, but she does it because she believes in the system.
Got it. Okay, then in that case, Lachlan sees this as the type of person who would be incredibly useful if he can win over her loyalty. So he is going to like allow this to happen. And if this will probably need some kind of maybe protocol role or something as well. But like he imagines that this kind of political person is the type of person that expects him to like play the game with her a little bit, right? So like he is going to try to kind of isolate her off from certain specific things until they start to trust each other more, right? He's not just going to like give her the whole farm.
She is a gas that will fill whatever container you give her and will not go any further.
Got it. Yeah. So I think what happened, basically, I think like over time, there'd probably be like Lachlan is trying to develop a long-term relationship with this person as like a staff member that could be loyal to him. So he's going to like slowly but surely give her more and more.
I just want to be clear here. Your role was so good is that, as you may know, no person can serve two masters, and she has chosen a master in Aaron Sandoval. Her loyalty to you is only insofar as your service is to Aaron.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know.
Just making sure, because I don't want you down the line to be like, but I thought she was loyal to me, and I'm like, no.
Yeah. she's very. Right now, there's nothing that Lachlan needs that he would be contending with Aaron Sandoval over, right? Okay. Like his.
That's what. Well, sure. For now, that's what you think. Right. Perfect.
And then that's when we'll have to cut her off eventually for sure. I have thoughts of scenes for both Jasper and Anko, but I want to make sure other people have a chance to do some stuff because this is.
I was about to jump to Anko, but it looks like Eddie's a little busy.
Uh-oh.
You want to do your scene with Jasper right now, then?
Yeah,
sure. I think Lachlan wants to know about this new militia commander, and so I think he just like shows up at Jasper's estate. And
no, we're not. No, we're not doing. We're actually playing the first 9 on like on the Whittington golf
that's
course.
Perfect. That's perfect. But I think the thing that I want to make sure happens is it's like literally like you haven't seen Lachlan in ages, and he just like out of the blue is like, oh hey, you want to go play golf?
Yeah,
and it's just like, oh
exactly,
like, he's alive.
Yeah. Lachlan, it's been. I must admit, I was a little surprised when you called me up to go golfing. I didn't know that you play. How you been?
I've been better, but I'm improving. And frankly, I'm a terrible golfer, but I don't mind. Is Jasper a good golfer? I'm actually curious about this.
Yeah, I probably have a really significant handicap against you.
Okay, so like, I don't know how much you even know about golf, Eric, but like, is he like a par golfer or is he like a below par golfer?
Below par.
Okay, so he's like really good at golf. Yeah, like Lachlan is like at best like golf.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think like I think like the first couple holes they're like he's just kind of chatting like I think maybe the only notable thing is if like the beer cart or whatever comes around, he will refuse a drink, which you probably have never seen him do.
No, absolutely. Like I started drinking primary or whatever when we're golfing.
Yeah, exactly.
Primary beer.
Hell yeah, they serve primary beer
from the home of Whittington's Heartlands, the Hiroka Heartlands.
Yeah,
I just need the folks at home who love that commercial to just keep memeing. All right,
for sure.
Keep going.
But yeah, so eventually, like,
sure, I can't get you one.
Oh yeah, no. I'm off the stuff for a little while.
I get you.
So
I should probably do that.
Well, everything in moderation, right?
Yeah.
I have to be honest, Jasper, there was another reason beyond just wanting to see you why I asked you to come golfing with me today. I'm supposed to go meet this new militia captain.
Sure. Yeah. I was, by the way, like the whole time we've been golfing, I've been doing that dude thing where we don't talk about our feelings, right? But like, it's definitely, I thought just needed somebody to hang out while you're grieving or whatever, right? But like, so like, I kind of like spit my beer a little bit or whatever because that's what I thought we were doing, but it's also like this thing, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of cough in the bottle. It's like,
Yeah, it's like there's
What?
like a moment of
Excuse me? Yeah.
oh, I thought you just wanted to hang out. I didn't realize this was an ulterior motive type deal.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know it was a recon mission. Sure, man. What can I do you?
I didn't mean to spring it on you. I just
That's okay.
things are moving quickly these days.
Yeah.
What's the man like?
I don't want to call him Jack off. You know how you and sorry, what was Anko's character before? Kuro, right?
True.
No, Kuro used to always think I had a giant stick up my ass.
Yes,
This guy's an AC-20 up there.
I see. Very
I'd
formal. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. If I were you, I'd be minding all of my P's and Q's around him. Short fuse, short statue, something to prove, you know? Swig of beer. It's good stuff.
Sounds about right. Sounds about right. Do you think he can be? Is he good? Is he? For all the uptight nature? Is he seem competent, or is he just another person who's all flash?
That's my question. You know, the March Lord sent him over here to put us in shape. Maybe this is a test from the March Lord for us. Thought keeps coming up to my percolating.
I don't think you're crazy thinking that.
But maybe we're also supposed to see what we can do when, you know, one of his ordered folks are here and see how we operate under supervision. Regardless, I would expect any kind of reports to be reaching the March Lords, or at least his inner circle.
This is all very helpful. I appreciate it, Jasper.
And ever since that fight, man, I've just been my shoulder. I keep slicing it.
Lockwood will just chuckle and he'll say,
I'm making up an excuse or whatever for why I'm losing.
like, well, look, it's rare for me to hit him as well as you do. So, you know, I'll take him where I can get him.
Yeah.
How is everything, though, on your end? Family's good? I haven't seen you in a while.
Oh, the girls are great, you know. I just keep looking back and I don't know, I'm just kind of I'm a little worried about the Davies kid. You know, Badger's it's got to settle down soon, you know.
Find him someone to marry?
I think so. But I don't know. I mean, you turned out okay for going longer without the noble duties, but I don't know. It just makes me anxious. You know,
I could look into it. I'm sure I can find somebody who has looking for a marriage. There are plenty of knights on Whittington. Somebody's got to be looking for something.
He should be looking off-world.
Not a bad idea.
Maybe someone with money.
Money's always good.
I don't know. Yeah, I think I kind of know the answer to this question, but I would ask you anyways, just for effect, right? I don't know. Would you marry for prestige or would you marry for money? May's Alliance or
So I think there's like kind of like a long pause, right? Like Lachlan kind of like, you know, stares off into the distance for middle distance for a while before answering, and he'll say, I'd be lying to you if I said that I married Xenia for any other reason much more than I thought that the political match made sense. But now, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe in a few years I'll feel differently, but right now the idea of marrying somebody, anyone, even if they could bring me a shortcut to the work politically that I've been trying to do, I just can't imagine it. I don't know.
Look, Locke, the one thing that I know about this is that this life's too short to go at it alone, man. It's too short.
Fair enough.
Damn it, man. I was trying to set you up to be like, well, that's why I got friends like you. Damn it.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
That's perfect.
All right.
No.
Sappy.
He waits until he takes a shot, pulls and ones it, then he goes and says that.
Yeah, okay, yeah, there you go.
Now watch us drive.
Just make it as schmaltzy as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I love
it. I love it. But yeah, I think unless you have anything else, that's a nice place to end.
That's a great ending. Absolutely.
You want to do a scene with Anko?
That was good.
Thanks,
man.
Sure. Unless somebody else has something that they want to get done like on their own, because I feel like I'm taking all the screen time today.
No. I mean,
Sam, you're so easy to roleplay with, dude. This just works so well, man. Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, and I think that's part of it too, is that your character is going through very pivotal moments. So, dude, take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. We're happy to.
Okay,
Jim.
Yeah, so you would want to go to Anko. I don't know. You can tell me, Eddie, where you think like this meeting would happen. Maybe if Anko's still around, this is like just at Lachlan's estate.
I think that makes sense. Like, I think there's something where Anko is maybe making sandwiches as like.
I love that. Like making sandwiches for the kids. There's like, like they're like running around in the background or whatever.
And you probably like walk in and you catch Anko pausing as she's making sandwiches and like holding her abdomen. Just kind of like having that motherly moment of like, this is my life soon, you know?
Sure. Lachlan will say, Anko, do you have a moment?
Oh, yes. She kind of comes out of the start. What is it?
I wanted to say thank you for everything you've done over the last few months. I know the last conversation we had before, everything happened was not pleasant, but your help was crucial.
I'm glad that I could be there for you. I don't know what I would do in the same situation.
Fair enough. There's one other thing as well, something I could use your help with if you are inclined.
Yes, I'm sure I could. I'll do my best to help.
My new agency has been very useful, very helpful in pursuing the goals of making Whittington a stronger place, but we're lacking in a crucial aspect, one that I think you can help with. I need to know who is loyal on planet, which of these business executives I can trust, who can stay in power and who needs to leave. I need intelligence. It was something your family was always very good at.
Yes. Well, I can definitely activate a few of my agents, see what I can find.
I'm wondering if you would be inclined to run the intelligence branch of my organization.
It is something that I've considered, as it is somewhat of a family tradition.
I don't know much about how this works, but you can tell me what you want. I was thinking if you want this to be publicly announced, some sort of title, head of Whittington Intelligence, something in that lens, if you want it to be more clandestine. something else? You tell me.
Give me a moment to think about it.
Take your time.
But either way, I will get on your first assignment at the very least. Try to find out who we can trust on world.
First step is consolidating our power, making sure everyone in the agency is loyal, everyone in the organizations we're acquiring are loyal, making sure that the people in power know who to look to when things go bad.
And just so we're clear, when you mean loyal, do you mean loyal to the Federated Sons or to yourself? Or to Whittington itself?
What's the difference?
Fair enough. I suppose it means as long as they're not doing something under the table for others.
Until the Duchess comes of age, I am Whittington.
I think there's like a moment of recognition of like kind of the power of those words just being said to Anko.
He needs to get a hood and be the attack on my wife's life has left me crippled. I will take ultimate power on Whittington with the promise that I will give it up once this crisis has passed.
The moment the crisis has passed.
Oh my god.
Palpatine McDougal.
Yeah, so I think Anko would look to Lachlan and just say, very well. Then let us make sure that the people recognize that.
I'll thank you in advance then.
And I think Anko, like depending on kind of your action, whether or not you start walking away or whether or not you go to the kids or something like that.
I think Lachlan goes and interacts with the kids
for the first time in months, maybe.
Yeah. But it's definitely like the Lachlan we've seen in the past was like very like affectionate and honestly like a pretty like good dad, right? He was like pretty good at like interacting with his kids and like getting onto their level. He's in the same way he has in every other conversation, right? He's much more taciturn and kind of like stoic even in that kind of interaction, right?
I think there's like a little bit more distance, and I think
for sure.
Others there recognize that for sure.
That's
yeah,
okay. Your kids don't give a shit. They just want to see daddy again.
Yeah. I was about to say they don't care how you are. They just want to see you. Yeah.
They just want to poop everywhere. Apparently, that's what I hear from all the new dads that I've been talking to.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I poop all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, these kids are a lot older than that. They're like 1 or 2
well,
years old.
One of them isn't. I mean,
all right, yeah, sure. All right.
But yeah, Anko kind of pauses for a moment and probably takes a second to get back to making sandwiches.
All right.
Just mulling that over.
We have 2 more scenes. One is Lachlan McDougal and Captain Harrison McDowell Bitterson, and one is Anko Khan and Sebastian Latour Bassett. Sorry, Bassett Latour, the BLT.
Let's do Anko first. We can get a little break from Lachlan.
Anko, you've been tasked with starting to create a intelligence agency that spies internally on business leaders and takes their temperature. News of this has, of course, filtered to the #1 most corrupt business leader on Whittington, Bassett, who comes to meet with you within a few days of your agency being established before you've even really have an operational doctrine. He would like to meet with you in your government office. And it is addressed not to the Baroness, but to Director Khan.
Okay, so then, because that's, I think, where the public versus the non-public discretion of like the title or whichever was unclear to me. Because I think Anko's approach would to be make it less public, simply to make it less of a target.
Okay. He's still coming for you.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah.
What you tell the public about how you're a quiet functionary working a back office job, supporting your friend, and what's really the truth doesn't matter to Bassett, because he knows that the McDougal administration is about noble influence.
Either way, I'll take the meeting out of propriety.
I don't think we've had much time to speak together,
No.
Baron Khan.
And I believe that there has been at least an attempt at new connections and bridges.
I would say we've put our chest to each other during the conflict regarding your Dragoon and other things.
Yes, that is fair.
I'd like to build upon that foundation of trust. And as he says that, he shifts so that, he does the leg up thing and leans back a little bit to show how comfortable he is around you. Can I call you Uncle?
Director in his office, please.
Very well, Director. I have a lot of business interests on this planet. And I have a lot of business in keeping that running, flowing smoothly in the face of government overreach. I don't know how much you know, Director, about my agreement with Lachlan McDougal, but I'm the face of the loyal opposition. And my meeting here today is not just as part of that facade. I am truly concerned about the way things are going on Whittington. Lachlan's actions may be a slight overreaction, and I wanted to make sure that there could be a public-private partnership that would facilitate a strong flow of information in both ways in order to bring about a more prosperous Whittington through your office, Director.
I think there's like a steeple of hands as Anko takes this in, kind of feeling her position at the desk. Yes, I can see the benefits of cooperation between us. Now tell me, where do your loyalties lie?
As I've just told you, I am here to work very closely with Lachlan McDougal. While on the surface, we are rivals, all that we've done has led to a shared cooperation. I'm surprised you weren't aware of that. You must not be as in the know as someone like Jasper. I'd be willing to speak with him to make sure that he keeps you up to date on these matters.
I don't think that would be necessary.
Very well,
However,
Director.
What is it that you are proposing exactly? Because if I remember correctly, there was questions about your dealings in the past.
There are always questions about things like that. I've been being investigated for the last several months, and honestly, I'm getting a little tired of having to have my people answer questions about perfectly legitimate business dealings over and over again. What I'm proposing here would be that my people voluntarily share the information you're looking for, and you share the reasoning why you're looking for them. These pieces of information, this data. We create a network, public-private partnership, built on trust and understanding. My people are loyal. The ones who have survived the war and were not summarily executed for treason are all strong, independent, and faithful citizens of Whittington. There's no reason for the government to harass us anymore.
So, AP, I think this is like a moment where Anko's eyes, like kind of her sixth sense of maybe this is like that like protecting of the child kind of situation as well, where like she's like honing in on this, like her intuition is telling her to look deeply into what Bassett is saying. But to suffice to say, I think there's like a layer of truth and to what Bassett is saying, but Anko wants to know if there's like an ulterior motive to what Bassett is trying to, by getting information from us, for instance.
You don't need to roll for that. It's Bassett. Okay, cool. There's always an ulterior motive.
I figured as much. So Anko is going to reply with just, well, I agree with you that an exchange of information is definitely quite valuable, especially if, as you say, your people are in the know and loyal to Whittington.
I wouldn't say in the know. I definitely didn't use that phrase.
Well, you've claimed that I don't know clearly as much as you do. So I
don't think I've claimed that either. Director, I think you're putting words in my mouth that were never there. I'm offering the information you're looking for freely and voluntarily.
Yes, but in exchange for information on our end. Is that not what you said? I simply
represent the business interests under my umbrella, and they would like to know why you're questioning them. But if it would help you smooth over any doubts, you can let me know what I can do to help you reach those conclusions.
I see. Well,
perhaps there's a paperwork fee for expediency.
I think where we might be able to start, Lord Bassett, is it Baron? He's still Baron, right?
No,
he's a count now.
Oh, God, yeah, he outranks you. So
yeah, that's fine. In the director's office. Anyway,
your local civil government. He definitely outranks you.
Yeah. Where we can start to get this agency's foot in the right place is a free exchange of information from your people. And I can ensure, at the very least, that you are aware of some of why we are looking into or asking the questions we are. You see, if you know too much of an active investigation, that would give you an edge over everyone else that I don't think would lead to a fair economy.
Director, are you saying that businesses under my umbrella are being actively investigated by the civil government?
I'm saying no such thing.
Can you tell me exactly which businesses are being investigated and for what crimes?
Unfortunately, that is not something I am able to share.
But there are investigations ongoing.
You said yourself.
There are investigations by the police, not this new branch that you have formed, Director. And are we your first priority?
No.
Was this at Lachlan McDougall's command?
And now you're putting words into my mouth. And
you seem to want to ask me questions, but you're doing your best job not to answer any of mine.
So far, I think there's been a misstep here because I have said nothing of the sort. I've asked you very little questions, in fact. And all I did was give you a counteroffer of sharing information.
You want us to voluntarily share everything that we have to offer, which of course we have no problem with as long as there is tit for tat. You won't tell us why you want this information. You say that you'll share half of an answer, but half of a redacted document could be a very serious problem when the redacted part is shared. You can understand why, as not just the noble in charge of these people, but also as their business leader, I would have grave concerns about the level of privacy interruption and government overreach that could happen from this situation. Why isn't the government transparent about why they're attempting to investigate these businesses, Director?
Again,
Don't you serve these people?
Again, I think you're misunderstanding.
Explain it to me very
Count
clearly,
Bassett.
then.
To you, I am simply asking, if you share your information, then we will share some as well. It is that simple. I wasn't saying that we were going to redact everything from them. And of course, transparency is a valuable asset in any government.
All right.
But
He shifts out of casual relax to elbows on knees leaning forward and says, Director, I'll make you an offer. You send me a list of the questions you're looking for and the businesses that you're interested in, and we will provide in like kind the answers that you are looking for. Voluntarily.
very well. We have a deal.
All right. He stands up and offers you his hand.
And I go ahead and shake
He
it.
clasps your hand with his other hand in the process.
I think there's like a moment of Anko like maintaining her composure, but just the gall of this guy.
Just one last thing, Baroness, on a personal note. I was curious. I hadn't seen any announcements yet. Will your child be heir to the house, or will the other Khan children still be taking primacy? I just wanted to understand how things were going.
Well, that is a personal matter, and
I don't think it's that personal of a matter. We are the nobility of Whittington and other worlds in the Federated Suns. The continuance of government is a matter of great importance to all those who are affected by it.
And it is something that I am going to discuss with Count Lachlan.
Fair enough.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time, Director. As he leaves. He's like smiling at people in your offices as he leaves and is like making personal connections.
Yeah.
How unctuous.
How's your kid? How are the kids, Jerry?
Yeah. And I feel like there's like an air of the people that Anko has brought into this department. There's an air of like suspicion already surrounding Bassett because there is an active understanding of Bassett's organization. Just because it's there is some questions.
I'm just going to mark down here that your people are openly suspicious of Bassett. There's no way he will pick up on that and or interpret it correctly.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would they?
I love how Lachlan's like, I would focus on internal stuff first, and you immediately go after Bassett.
Well, so I mean here's the thing. That's what the Anko's plan was, but then he comes in here and tries to like coerce me into giving all the information.
Is heading it off at the pass and trying to get his little corrupt fingers into everything, and you aren't interested in his corruption. So instead, you're gonna get whatever he gives you.
Yeah. So to be clear, I'm going to curate questions specifically to lead him or mislead him in terms of like who we're actually investigating, but still get information from him. So like it's going to be very specific questions that I'm definitely going to be rolling for this. And in terms of making sure that we're getting information while they're not getting the same thing.
I'm going to need you to make 2 rolls. One is investigation. The other is acting.
Anko's got to be good at both of those, right?
Investigation?
Yep. It's
Would it
an
make
intelligence
sense?
skill.
This is completely unrelated. Would it make sense to make golf clubs out of Endosteel?
I mean,
I'm asking for a friend.
the same
Source, I'm the friend.
that same question applies to the fact that we can make golf balls out of like 50 different materials that would send them fucking sailing. You know what I mean? Like, you could make them out of Endosteel and they'd be ultra light, you know, with extremely high tensile strength, like the same strength.
Is that good for hitting a golf ball?
A steel. I mean, I assume steel clubs are great for hitting.
I think they make them out of like carbon fiber and stuff so that they're lighter and stronger. So I would imagine that
the idea of light plus strength is kind of what I was going for. I was like, oh, we need an Endosteel. I'm gonna make my own Endosteel club line.
Carbon fiber.
I'm getting out of the Mechwarrior game, guys. I'm getting into that lucrative.
Yeah, like isn't that like what all golf clubs are made out of now? Is like fiber and graphene.
I don't know.
Oh yeah,
I don't know shit about golf, bro. I just live on a golf course.
Quick question for you, AP. So it was investigation. What?
Investigation and acting.
And acting.
Investigation is intelligence, and acting is charisma.
Got it. Okay.
I want like the silhouette of the guy doing the swing as like part of the H of Hiroka. Awesome. I'm sorry. What's wrong with me? That's all I care about is like, what font should it be?
Jasper's next project is going to be like acquire all the Whittington golf courses or something.
Yeah.
He's going to open the premier Whittington Golf Club.
It's
that's what I do when I retire from being a Mechwarrior after I'm injured. I'm just going to host golf tournaments.
It's a fit Wilford Brimley, right, out on the links, talking to some young club attendee. What do they call the guys who take your bags for you?
Caddies.
Caddy? Just the caddy hands him something. He goes, "No, son,
I didn't even play golf.
Not here. Hand me a Hiroka, number 8." The caddy's just like, "Well, I'm not sure. I've never seen one of these." He goes, "Trust me." Perfectly into the hole. As the caddy watches, astounded, several people nearby just start clapping, right? A major tennis star or major golf star shows up and is just like, "Sir, that was an excellent shot. Can I get your autograph?" And then this Wilford Brimley character turns toward the camera and goes, "When you need to hit the back 9, make sure you've got a number 8. Hiroka 8.
Oh my gosh. All right. So thanks for taking that time so I could move some numbers around. I spent some
no problem. That's what we're here for.
So I boosted because I have other skills that seem to relate, but I do not have investigation, or I had 1 point in investigation, but no acting yet. But I do have a high charisma. So even with a +2 investment, I now have an acting of 6.
Okay.
So with
Give me
that,
those numbers.
So we roll both of those, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Let's do that then.
Just another dog shit roll for this show.
It was
Double
literally
ones.
spinning around in circles. Like it did not roll.
It did roll. It rolled. It was just funny.
Okay. Well, I'm going to use an edge.
Yeah. Still dog shit.
That's much better. It's not dog shit. Okay. So that was for acting, I think, right?
Okay. So you have an 11?
So, yeah, I have an 11. Yeah. And then investigation.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 7 +6. That's a 14. No, 13. Sorry.
Okay. You get some of the information that you're looking for from the Bassett group, but pretty much everyone across the planet begins getting lawyers involved. And any court case that they have, they ask for extensions on everything. Every request that you have, every piece of evidence has to be checked. Every warrant request needs to be reviewed by a judge. Whoever is behind this legal cavalcade, it's Bassett, is making sure that everyone on planet knows which law firms to talk to before they get involved with your department. Bassett does not fall for any of your deceptions to get around him. It's not going to happen.
I really like the idea that it would be like the same, like 12 lawyers in the room every time, too.
Just one firm, right? There's one firm is handling the defense.
What's
Like
the name of the firm? What's the firm? Who are the three partners?
Hamson, Lich, and Beholder.
So I
What's
guess
the first one?
Hamson,
What's
Hammson.
So
it's
I'm
just a
curious.
regular person's name. I was just
and then
I moved to
Lich
D&D
with like
monsters when I couldn't
with an
regular
yeah,
names.
no, hey, no, I mimic Lich and Beholder.
You need
Mimic
one more
Lich
name,
and
though.
Beholder. That's perfect.
You need one more name, though, for it to be a law firm, because most law firms have like 4 or 5 now.
4 part.
And
Oh.
sons.
There you go. Perfect.
So curiously, like, so is Anko being tasked to have to do this herself? Because I was thinking it was going to be
You
something
run a department. You don't have
Sure.
to do it all yourself, but you lead the investigation.
I see.
You do get a little bit of the information you're looking for. What is the information you're looking for?
Yeah, so I think this would be something, Sam, that would be kind of like a clear directive from you in some way, shape, or form, right? Of basically who's
Well, I thought
corrupt.
you were investigating internally, not Bassett.
I wasn't investigating Bassett. Then he pointed his fingers on himself. So
Right, but so like I don't have.
I think that's where the confusion was with me.
I
and
don't.
AP
But that's
too.
what I'm saying. Is like I don't have anything in particular that I need to know about Bassett because like we haven't acquired.
What are the questions that you want to have answered? Because that's what's really going to have happen here.
Right.
You get some of what you want. What do you want?
So I mean, I think it's the first question that we had was, do any of the businesses have ties with known like associates of like the Draconis Combine or potential weak links, people that can be used against Whittington, that sort of thing. But again,
how do you feel about multinationals that aren't the Draconis Combine? Companies that operate in the Capellan Confederation or the Free Worlds League, as well as the Lyran Commonwealth and the Federated Sons.
I think that would be at least a thing that they would take note of, but not necessarily flag it as like a red flag. You know what I mean?
The biggest flag that you find is Jacobson Unlimited. A lot of their employees aren't from Whittington. They have close ties to Draconis Combine and the Outworlds Alliance, which is Draconis Combine Federated Sons Mixed Feelings. They are working in sensitive positions across the entire globe, setting up new spaceports, and they have very close access to spaceport security, procedures. They have their own security team. A lot of your investigators are starting to ask questions about the level of independence that Jacobson Unlimited is allowed on this planet. They have a license to operate Battlemechs on the world and purchase them. They don't have anything concrete yet, like Jacobson is planning a rebellion. But they fit the profile of what you're looking for.
Okay. And I guess if there's any more like depth to that, the details that the Anko's crew would be or task force would be looking for is specifically if there are folks that are in influential places that if they were to be flipped in some way, shape, or form, they could cause havoc.
I mean, I'm just going to tell you that question's meaningless. Anyone could be flipped. And what if Jasper Hiroka's wife is taken hostage without anybody knowing, right? Is the head of the militia. It would be a very serious concern. Like, probably one of your people is just like, anyone could be flipped eventually with enough pressure, man.
Yeah. I mean, Kuro didn't.
That's true.
Or Anko didn't, rather. Kuro died.
Yeah, but Anko doesn't appear to ever want anything except Lachlan McDougal's attention and love. So she's offered things and she just goes, nah.
I mean, you know, it's it's less that.
Works
Anyway.
for Lachlan.
Yeah, right. But no, I guess for you guys, is there anything else that, like, especially for Lachlan, like, was there anything more that you were looking for?
I was not intending to investigate Bassett originally, but I guess if you can tie like his shit to criminality, the initial thing that Lachlan was looking for Anko to do was to like investigate the agency itself and like the businesses he's acquiring for like who are like loyal to him and to Whittington, right?
Oh, I see. Okay.
So like basically like looking for like if Bassett has planted like snakes in the agency, that kind of stuff.
Got it.
Right.
Okay.
That's what he meant when he was like internal consolidate, like shoring up the internal aspect is most important first, right? Is like making sure that, you know, in-house is good and loyal, and then we can start moving out.
Your new fascist agency does not have any Bassett loyalists.
Good.
However, he ran, not for a brief period of time, a special investigatory unit, and has a lot of contacts within police forces and internal security. There's a revolving door policy with his own security team, which is led by a reputed psychopath. That's you. Say no.
Oh, Michelle.
Michelle. And yeah, it's just known that there are cops that are corrupt that are on his payroll. Like, it's not like the whole force is dirty, but there's enough police officers that have been turned that Audrey Lafayette has submitted several reports to, you know, McDougal that he ignored because he was grieving over the process of his wife's death.
I feel like that's where Anko would have started. That makes most sense.
Well, I mean, look, he's a friend to police officers now. Well, he may have once had a criminal past. He took down a lot of bad guys. And more importantly, he's great for business. And he's a good friend to have. You need a home loan? Wow. You don't just need a home loan, friend. You need a renovation. And I know some guys that'll take care of you for real cheap. I'll see you next week, Officer Branson. And that is how he operates. The thing is, he's got enough of the cops that no one's really sure who's loyal to him and who isn't. If you're seen as a friend of him, is it a bad thing? Is it not a bad thing? Like, Lafayette and planetary security are so tied up in this question, they can't get close enough to investigate him now. And your charter doesn't involve, like, you're a civilian non-police investigatory unit. You're financial analysts, essentially. You don't have any authority to go after the kind of stuff that they want to go after. But you know, your department is clean. For now. Only because you ordered your people to stand off with him.
That was the plan.
Okay.
To keep a distance. Not let him, you know, get a little too close. Get a little too friendly.
McDougal.
Yes, sir.
You are seated across the table from Captain Bitterston.
Yeah, he's just waiting for him to say something.
He's waiting for you to say something.
What's that?
You asked to see me, Captain?
I did. Count McDougal, my lord. I'm here to ask for increased funding for the militia and funding for war games which will be carried out. The defense of this planet is my highest priority, and I will require and request the civilian government to help me increase the level of defensive posture of the local units, which currently is abysmal despite the best efforts of their captain.
Done. Anything else you need?
I would like increased access to planetary security records. I want the civilian government's intelligence network to be aligned with military intelligence.
Understood. I imagine that will be a bit trickier to make happen as quickly as simply releasing funds, but we can begin to work towards that kind of cooperation, make sure that everything goes smoothly.
I want you to understand that I cannot order you to do this, but I am making a formal request of the noble government senatorial forces that all armed guards in service to the peerage be attendant to any military exercises, whether they attend in person, which would be my personal preference, with their machines and or equipment, or whether they review the material with one of my staff officers, that the nobility be prepared. My people will not be enhancing our Mechwarrior forces. That is not our goal on this planet. And the militia will be increasing its tank forces and infantry rather than increasing its Mechwarrior forces. We will require the nobility to be working in lockstep with us. And during a wartime situation or a raid, I will be able to command you. But that said, at this very moment, I will require your consent. I would prefer that the Mechwarrior nobility that this planet has raised be capable of operating with the forces that will be defending you and your world. However, if you choose not to do this, I will understand, but I will still require you to operate with us during a time of war.
I have no desire to fight you on this, Captain. This all seems very much in line with my vision for how to make sure that this planet is protected in the future.
And I'll be seeing you twice a month, sir.
There is one thing that may help smooth it over with the local nobility. If there is any kind of grant or funding that you could see us receiving from the Marsh Lord in an effort to bolster our defenses, we can make sure to spread the wealth and allow these nobles not to have to shoulder the costs of making sure that their forces attend to these training sessions.
That is outside the purview of my command. If you find such funding and I can have my people look into it, I will attach my recommendation in a positive fashion for it. But that said, I received my funding from the Federated Suns government and from your government as well. I do not personally hand funds out.
Very well. I think this seems to be the beginning of a very fruitful relationship, Captain. Seems we see eye to eye on these things. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help.
I will. He
Anything
stands
else?
up, salutes, and then dismisses himself from the room.
Yeah, and Lachlan will head out shortly after.
Yeah. Well, Honko, Jasper, will you be... Well, I guess Jasper will be there. He's already promised to do so. Do Lachlan and Onko answer the twice-monthly weekend-long war games with their entire noble team sorting?
I think that makes sense. Anko's trying to bring in the LeBeau and the new knight.
Listen, I'm just going to be 100% honest with you. The mercenaries and LeBeau are always the bad guys.
Yeah.
There is a rotating cast of which Mechwarriors are additionally assigned to the opposing forces, but those three mercenary units / knight groups are always the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lachlan will definitely show up, and he's gonna make like a whole big show about like trying to like turn this into kind of like a public outreach event, like trying to encourage all the other nobles to come, and like this is for the safety of Whittington, blah blah blah.
Well, this is actually how your parents died, and how the original Countess Constance Lake died was during a military exercise where the armory had an explosion set off. And no one had closed the armory door, and it rolled through the mech bay and out into the stadium. So
easy.
what I'm saying
Great.
is that the local nobility are used to this. It's been years, but it's like a jubilee, right? It's pretty
Yeah,
normal for the
I get
nobles.
it.
Twice monthly is a little bit much for them. And of course, some of them, like Audrey Lafayette, declines to attend. Genji Yohei is not physically capable of attending himself, but he sends Pax Charlemagne, his personal noble group, as often as he can. It is thin and weak. They have trouble rebuilding in the aftermath of their essential massacre. But you know who does show up every single time with a huge wave of converted Ford F-150s with machine guns on the back and aggro mechs? It's Bassett.
F-150s,
Yeah.
not a Hilux.
No, I'm sorry.
Ah,
I did want to note that I had a thought about how kind of the Bassett Anko's conversation went, and I kind of feel like there was an implication or like something that was said that I didn't quite say in that moment of before, like him asking whether or not she was investigating, or the department was investigating him. It was like, should we be investigating you?
You could
just
ask him
kind of
that
like-
question, but I assure you, he would have turned it back around on you.
Oh, for sure. He would have done the best he could. Either way, yeah, I think Anko would kind of, for the games, have LeBeau try tactics that the nobility wouldn't recognize.
Those
right?
are the only tactics he knows, which are
Exactly.
striking with overwhelming force from above while no one's looking.
Oh, well, I mean, I was talking more about like being creative with the tactics and doing stuff that would be a little less formal and that sort of thing.
Sure. I mean, his standard procedure is to have helicopters drop anti-mech troopers on top of mechs from above. Not great.
Oh my god.
Definitely scares the shit out of people.
Yeah.
Let's talk about homework for next time. Any senatorial bills you want to put forward? The Senate session, the Kerensky Ball, which will be run by... Jesus, I forgot it was going to be run by this year. Last year was Lafayette. I feel like we must have assigned somebody it, but I can't remember. Did anyone want to volunteer to run the Kerensky Ball?
definitely not.
No, Anko's still reeling from...
All right, Benji will do it then.
Nice.
So those will all be on the table. So think of any power plays you want to put together and bills. I will let you know during the week what bills your various friends will do.
Okay. And yeah, what happens? Okay. At the end of the year, obviously the child will be born.
Yeah, I mean, born
Hopefully.
before the end of the year, really. Like anytime
Right.
you want to say that the child is born, it happens.
Okay. Yeah, I'll think about that.
Sounds good.
All right, that's it for us. Episode 2. Friends, thank you for joining us. Have a good time zone.
Take care.